What's up, everybody? We are back again with another episode of Show Me What I've Been Missing. I'm one of your hosts, Chris Mack, and I'm here with
your other host, Elizabeth Stanton.
Yes, and we're about to show you what you've been missing with season 3, episode 11 of Sex in the City, Running with Scissors. And this is very much live it up to his name.
This is a notorious. This is a notorious, not in a bad way, but like this is a good episode.
I honestly, Elizabeth, I feel like we just got to get it out the way. We just got to talk about it right away. We start this episode off with Carrie being a piece of shit.
She's back at it again at Krispy Kreme. And by Krispy Kreme, I mean a fancy hotel with Big. Wearing a trench coat like she's some kind of sexy spy. What the fuck?
Like, no, it's fucked up. Like it went from like a couple of hookups to like now it's a full-on affair.
Full-blown
affair. They're getting a hotel every week to meet up and have sex. However
sometimes only for a few hours at a time.
Right.
Like prostitutes. Both of them, to be clear.
Her more than him, because it seemed like she's the one that calls and she shows up.
But yeah. He's still a whore though too. I hate it.
I mean, yeah, no. I mean, the John is what they.
We're not talking shit about actual sex workers. These are the bad kind of people that we don't like. And then, but the affair starts off so elegant as she puts it, and then they're at like a shittier hotel. They're chain smoking in the room. And she complains about it, and he's like, you picked this, and she picks it because it's like a safe haven. No one knows them in that area. And she's trying to do this so no one will get hurt. That's not how cheating and affairs work. You absolutely.
Someone always, even if said partners never find out, someone still gets hurt. Because here's the thing. No matter what, and you can even see it a little bit in this episode between her and Aiden. Like he could feel her pulling away from him.
Yeah.
He could feel your energy, like because it'd be like if it was just a sex thing and they weren't spending time together, like didn't have like the history that they had, it probably wouldn't feel that way. But they have a relationship, a history relationship, and it's also like a full-on affair. They're making a schedule to see each other. Like that's a relationship. So when you're putting that kind of energy into an affair, energy is going to be taken away from the initial relationship because nobody has that much in them. People may think that they do, but you don't have that much in you to give energy to two people like that, unless y'all all three live together. Then maybe, you know what I'm saying, but not when you're doing it this way. Especially you're sneaking around and shit like that. That's a lot of energy to like sneak around, get hotel rooms, think of fake names, try to be, you know what I'm saying, all this other shit. That's so much energy. You're taking it away from your partner immediately. So somebody always gets hurt no matter what.
Yeah, and even between her and Big, it's not like going that great at this point,
right?
Because they're in that like the not so great hotel room, and she's like complaining it's hot, and they kind of start to make out, and then she's like, "Oh, I can't stand the heat," you know, and he's like, "What are you saving it for your boyfriend?" Which has always stuck out to me. It's so mean, like.
It was mean, but she got out. She's like, "You don't talk to me like that."
Yeah,
like,
and it's so weird because. It is mean. It's good she stood up to him in that moment.
Yes,
and it's like, don't fucking, if we're doing this, don't fucking talk to me that way. You don't get to treat me like shit.
Right.
We're doing this.
But also though, like I also understand it because like I can understand him saying that because his frustration is again, like you were saying, in our last episode, like she's acting like she's the victim of all this. Like it's just happening to her. Like she's not even taking responsibility for any of the choices that she's made in the last month. It's like
no responsibility for any of the lies, the coordination, the booking of hotels, etc.
Like she just woke up naked and he was next to her. Like she had no idea. She was roofied for every single time they had sex. No, stop it.
And he does apologize, but she's like, how did they get to this place? And it's like, because you both keep fucking and you won't stop.
How did we get here? Bitch, you took a cab. That's how you got here. You took a taxi. You got here and you had sex. That's what happened. Stop pretending. Again, see, that's what I'm saying. I can understand his frustration because again, she's making it seem like he's responsible for all this. Like he just like kidnapped her and was like, "We're gonna have an affair."
You're my sex slave now. Yeah. Like no, she's just as active a participant in this as he is.
Absolutely.
So Carrie and Miranda are at a bar and she decides she needs to confess to Miranda. So she tells Miranda she's having an affair with Big and she's smoking again. And I love Miranda. She's so shocked she's like, can I have a cigarette?
I mean, that's a lot of stress in one moment to hear that. Because like even as a friend, you want to be supportive, but it's like, come on, boo, that's fucked up. Like, how can you, like, honestly, how do you expect me to support you when you know you're doing like the most dirt? You know what I'm saying? That's a hard situation, because even for Samantha in the last episode when she told her, like, that still had to be hard to like swallow your shit and be like, all right, I'm not gonna give you my opinion. I'm just gonna hear you out, but you know this is fucked up.
Right? You know it's wrong, because Miranda goes, "What about Aiden?" and Carrie's like, "Yeah, exactly. What about Aiden? I need people to say that shit to me." And Carrie keeps insisting she's worried Big will tell Natasha or do something stupid in general, and she asks Miranda, like, does he only want me now because he can't have me? And Miranda just goes, yes. And I think that's totally true. It's 100% true.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because like honestly, like, okay, think about it, right? Where was he when she ran into him when they were in the Hamptons, right? When she was single Carrie and she was trying to, possibly bang some 20-year-olds again, which is your thing. Not mad at it, whatever, do your thing, you know what I'm saying? Legal age, it's all good. But like when he ran into her at the beach, he wasn't calling her and was like, hey, where are you? Or hey, what's up? Like none of that, blah, blah, blah. Like he wasn't trying to find his way into her life. But as soon as he found out that she had a boyfriend, now all of a sudden he has to see her right now. He has to be there. He doesn't care who's around. He doesn't care what's going on. Like now he has to have her. Yeah, because of his ego. That's what I'm saying. Like this dude, if he's willing to barge into your apartment and disrupt your relationship, he's not here for you. He's here for himself, bro.
Yeah, because Miranda rightfully, says like, what do you want from this? Forget Big, forget everything else. What do you want? And Carrie says, I want everyone to get out of it without getting hurt, which, as we said, is impossible. And Miranda's like, you just gotta stop. And then they say, who else knows? And Carrie's like, just you and Samantha. Don't tell Charlotte, who's about to get married, because Charlotte will lose her shit.
She will. She would. He totally would. And I honestly, and to be fair too, like that is like, man, that's a lot to deal with when you're about to get married. Like you're literally about to get married, and now you have a friend that's cheating on their boyfriend with a married man. Like that's gotta it's hard not to take that on personally.
Yeah,
it's hard not to take that on.
Let's just jump to that scene because because we kind of already addressed, Carrie's in bed with Aiden kind of in the middle of the episode, and he's making like a noise while they're kissing, and then she's like, I suddenly doesn't like it, and it's what you were saying she does earlier, where you pull away emotionally. So Carrie goes to like another hotel waiting for Big, and a businessman thinks she's a hooker or a sex worker because he's seen her there so many times at like similar times. She storms out of the hotel, and that's when she bumps into Charlotte, and Big follows, and Charlotte sees her and Big, and Charlotte's not dumb, so she knows what's happening, and they try to like lie, and Charlotte's like, okay, bye, and then Carrie's at Charlotte's helping her pack, trying to explain herself, and Charlotte is, like you said, hurt.
Well, the heartbreak in her face when she saw Big come out there, like I was like, oh, Charlotte, even though it wasn't happening to her, but it felt like as if it was like
her sweet baby angel,
like she was getting cheated on, you know what I mean? Like, oh, Charlotte, I'm sorry you had to see that. It's bullshit, I know.
And Charlotte's like, you're the other woman in this situation, and how would you feel if it was happening to me? And Carrie's like, I'd be furious. And she's like, I'd kill them. I'd kill him. And she's like,
kill him.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
And Charlotte, I love this point though. Charlotte points out that Carrie does not think about Natasha, because Carrie keeps trying to do her like, oh, I'm so worried about Natasha getting hurt. And Charlotte's like, no, you're not. Yeah. You don't think about Natasha as a person. You just think, you're only worried about what will happen if you get caught. Because you don't know Natasha, you hate Natasha for really no good reason other than the fact that she happened to have married your ex.
Right.
Natasha has never done a thing to you personally.
Nope.
You don't know a goddamn thing about her hardly. Yeah. And you just are mad she has your toy, basically.
Yep.
And Natasha has just done nothing wrong. But like Carrie just doesn't give a shit. But won't admit it to herself. She's just convinced that somehow she's
doing it the right way,
which no, Because then
I was like, no, that's not, no, sweetheart.
And Carrie insists she's getting out, and then we get to this big moment. So Carrie's at Big's house. If we were mad about Big sleeping in the sheets where Aiden sleeps, it's even worse. Carrie's in the bed he shares with his wife. Woo! And on Big's lunch hour, no less. Really just wham bam, thank you, ma'am. And Natasha's away in the Hamptons. And he's got to rush out, and she's like, I feel like a hooker, and she tells them they got to stop seeing each other, and they got to go around and around this, like, you can't tell. He's like, I'm going to tell my wife. She's like, you can't tell your wife. He's like, are you all in on this? And she's like, I don't know, I need more time. And he says, like, regardless, he's calling Natasha Monday to figure this out, like, end the marriage. Yeah. I think one way or another, I think even if he wasn't gonna hook up with Carrie, their marriage wasn't gonna work out in the long run.
Sure, yeah. I mean, they're clearly not the. Yeah. I mean, well, I don't know, man, because like they never. It's hard to say because like we only saw like little bitty glimpses of them together, and she was always just kind of like arm candy, low-key, in the scenes that they showed of her. Not that's not who she is as a character, but that's just kind of how like they portrayed her. And so we don't really know if they like actually were attracted to each other, if they had anything in common other than like they were just like both well-off people, good looking well-off people. Like other than that, like what else do we so because like and it's hard to say because like I feel like really just in a situation their marriage is not working because of him, because he never truly committed to like he always was looking for something else.
Clearly. And Carrie asks in that argument, are we gonna be a real couple if we do this? And he just says, are you in or out? He never says yes, which is such a common theme with cheating, which is people like, I'm with, if you're like, if you're the other person, the other woman, the other man, and you're with them forever and ever, but they never leave their partner, they're never gonna be a real couple. Like, it's all, that's such a mess. So he leaves Carrie at the thing. Carrie just makes her fucking self at home, takes his showers, eating out of the fridge, trying to get to know Natasha through decorations, and then Natasha comes home.
Yo.
Oof. Poor Natasha, truly. This again, she just gets the fucking short end of the stick on this one. Carrie tries to sneak out the back, gets caught, and Natasha rightfully chases her down the stairs and is like, I knew you were having an affair, but not in my house. Which, the disrespect.
The disrespect. Yeah. And that's also, but kudos to Natasha. Like clearly she's a woman of elegance, because if that had been me, Carrie would have got her ass whooped. Ain't no way she would have made it down the stairs. Because here's the thing. Yes, of course. Right. She's just the other woman. So technically she ain't the problem. The problem is the husband. He's the one that said the vows and he should want to be committed to it. However, if you are going to be sleeping with my wife or my husband, you ain't going to do it in my house. I have to fuck you up just on that principle alone. You're not going to disrespect me in my home that I pay for. Like, like it's one thing that you might be, fucking my girl. That's fine. Cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll address her later. But if you do it in my home, you both got to get fucked up.
Because, like, Carrie takes a shower at their place. Whose fucking bath products do you think she's using?
Let me come home. Let me come home and see your hair fucking wet from taking my shower after you done fuck my spouse in my house. Oh,
your nasty feet are in my shower.
I gotta fuck you up. I'm sorry. Even if the cops come, I'll be like, listen to what happened. They probably give
me they're justified. No questions asked.
They probably give me at least a lighter sentence. They'd be like, all right, it's not murder, it's assault. It's cool.
You're off with a warning. But poor Natasha is not off with anything. She trips down the stairs and splits her lip. And then Carrie's trying to help her get to the hospital, trying to help her
lip and chips a tooth, apparently.
And loses a tooth.
Yeah.
And I like when they're outside and Natasha's trying to get the taxi and Carrie's trying to help, and Natasha just keeps pushing her away. Because don't fucking touch me.
She pushes her out of the way, and then she locks the cab. She locks the cab so she can't sit next to her in the back. She's like, "No, bitch, sit in the front with the creepy cab driver." Fuck out of here.
I don't. What fucking help are you gonna give me? You have fucked up my life.
Yeah.
What do you think is gonna be better about this
like situation? This is gonna smooth it over. Like this is gonna make me forget that you were fucking my husband. Nah, bro, that ain't how it works, bro. That ain't how it works.
So Big gets to the ER where Carrie's been just waiting in the room because I wouldn't let Carrie back in with me to save her life.
Hell no.
And this also, I feel bad. This is a reminder of how much younger Natasha is than Carrie. Natasha's parents are on their way.
Yeah.
And that kind of made me sad for Natasha too, because it's like she's only like 25, 26, something like that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, you're still like a baby, and you just got with this old bastard.
But you know what though? Here's the positive of this whole situation. If she is only like 25 years old, that means she didn't like spend like the good years of her life stuck behind this fucking bum ass dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, at least if they get divorced, by the time she's like 26, you still good. Like you got a whole lot of life to go find
ahead of her.
Yeah. To find somebody that actually fucks with you and like actually loves you, actually wants to be with you, and not gonna like run back to his ex the second he sees her with a new guy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And then Big thanks her for helping out and says he'll call, and Carrie says, for what? Like, but truly, for what?
Yeah, what are you talking about? When she said that, I was like, finally she gonna be like, finally she figured it the fuck out after all this, after it blew up in her face. She's finally like, yeah, why would you call me? Why would you? What use would that be? Like, what are we gonna?
Yeah.
What are we gonna talk about? How I
wife
fell downstairs?
Yeah,
like how you went downstairs chasing me? Like, no, we're not gonna have that conversation.
Natasha's also was a model, which Carrie fucking up her face like that unintentionally, but still
don't matter.
Just truly like ruining Natasha's life. Like, if I was Natasha, I would hex the shit out of Carrie and be I'd be like, hello, do you know how to do voodoo? Excellent, let's get to work. Because guess what? Somebody used my shower and their hair's still in the drain, so I've got everything I need.
That's hilarious.
And I like the metaphor because Carrie's going towards like the door that's sliding open and closed, in or out. What are you gonna do? Carrie walks out of the hospital. She goes home to Aiden, and she lies about where she's been because she is a dirty, stinking, cheating liar.
Right.
She goes into the bathroom and she's like, I feel like I let myself out of the mess and I made it back home. Yeah, fucking bully for you. Look what you did to poor Natasha on your way out the door.
Right.
Like, I hate the way that's how the episode ended. Like, she's like, I'm free. I've done it. I've broken the...
Yeah, because she kind of, like low key, she kind of did get out of the situation unscathed, which is fucked up.
But she left destruction in her wake.
Right, of course. But you know what though, which goes back to what she said to Miranda. She's like, I'm trying to get out of this without anybody getting hurt. So what she really meant was, I'm trying to get out of this without me getting hurt.
Yeah. And other than some emotional collateral damage.
Again,
but that's all self-induced.
Yeah, all I'm gonna say it in the last episode, I'm gonna say it again. How can women watch the show and say, this is who I want to be? I want to be at Carrie. Carrie is the worst, B. She's the worst friend. She's the worst girlfriend. Yeah. She's the worst person in the show. She's the worst.
I will say, I think this is not the element people want from Carrie. They like the high fashion, the flightiness, like you can kind of flip through life and have this fun, fabulous life and all these men and all this great stuff. They don't necessarily want the cheating aspect of it, but it's hard.
But you can't pick and choose, bro. You're gonna be a Carrie, you gotta be a Carrie all the way. You gotta take all her shit, the good and the bad. So that's who you're trying to be. That's just who you want to be, the cheating ass bitch.
Not okay.
Not okay.
So
and here's the thing, like I can understand, and I would be with her. Like if it was okay, I still wouldn't fuck with her because she already lost me a season ago. But I would at least like ride with her. Like if she didn't tell Aiden, if it was like a one-time thing, like if she truly was a one-time, her and Big hooked up, and that was it. She fucked up and like didn't call him, and there was no continuing affair going on. I'd be like, all right, she slipped. I'm not saying it's okay, but listen, she ain't doing it no more. But she had a full-on affair. There's no
there's no like
bro,
whoopsie doodle do over.
Right. Yeah. No, you don't get to come out of this and say, I hope somebody come right to and tell his face. Anyway, moving on.
So I'm like, what else happened in this episode? I barely remember.
I
know. Let's see. Oh, okay. So Samantha has an interesting little story with her.
Yeah, let's have a little fun.
Let's have some fun with Samantha. So
they keep giving her these small storylines in this season. She hasn't really had like what was it, like 2 episodes ago? She kind of had like somewhat of a story. Mm-hmm. Actually, you know what? This one she does kind of get a story.
This is a little more of a story.
Yeah, a little bit more of a story.
Because she meets a guy at a bar who's the male her. Haha,
right.
I love that.
I did like that line too. I wrote it down. I was like the male Samantha. I was like,
so good. And so they
could never be together like a couple though. That would never work. Yeah.
Oh, I know.
Dude, that's too. Yeah,
it's too powerful.
Too powerful. No. That's like that would be like what would happen at the end of a rom-com if they got together like this.
What's that movie with Will Smith, Hancock, where the 2 superpowered people can't be ready to each other? They'll start dying.
Yeah, exactly.
It's exactly like that.
It's Hancock for sure. Yeah, fucking thunderstorm with fucking fucking tornado would come up in New York.
So they go back to his place though, and he's got a sex swing.
Yeah.
But then he asks her when her last AIDS test was, and he says, hey, anyone who's had as much sex as the 2 of them needs to get tested regularly, which is true. Yeah. She reveals she's never had one, and he won't have sex with her until she does. And I was like, oh, like COVID rules. Cool.
By the way,
but smart on him. Good for him.
Smart on him. Also a cool thing for a show like this, especially for the time, because usually when they show like, you know, somebody being safe sex or whatever, it's usually the woman that brings it up. Never the man that's like, oh, let me put on a condom, or oh, you need to go get tested. So it's kind of cool to see that reversed and see a man actually being like, look, I am not going inside you until I know I'm not going to die from it. Like, sorry, brother.
He's like, I love fucking too much to kill me.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I totally respect that, because like, I mean, that's, and you know what, like, it's so weird though, because, you know, you hear about this stuff, or not hear about it, but you like, you know, see things like this on TV, and like, yes, you should, like, everybody should probably go get tested at least once a month or something like that, or once every few months, depending on what kind of partner you're doing. Depending on your sexual activity,
your lifestyle.
Yeah, I mean, if you got a girl, if you're like in a relationship, probably not so much. You know what I'm saying? Maybe like every 6 months or something like that, or something like that. But if you're single and you're sexually active, you should. And if you're having sex with like more than one person in a month, you should definitely be getting checked. You should never get checked.
For your safety and for other people.
Even if you wear condoms. Even if you wear condoms. Don't matter. Like, because you're not gonna, here's the thing. Also, too, if you're sexually active, you're not always wearing condoms. I hate when people are like, oh, I never have sex. Yes, you do. Everybody has. You've had the sex without the condom. It don't matter. You've done it at least once in your life. I don't care when anybody says, oh, I've never had. Yes, you have. You have. Stop it. Because even Samantha had to admit it, right? Because like, when she went to the office and talked to her, when she was talking to the ladies at brunch, she was like, oh, I don't need to get checked. I always have sex with a condom. And they were like,
they're like, we still check.
And but they even looked at her like, for real, you do every single time?
Yeah.
She was like, all right, I'll set it up. Yeah, because everybody does.
Yeah. And they talk about, but I do hate that Carrie and Miranda were like, oh, waiting for the results is the worst. And they take you in the little room, like all like it's like frankly, it's like how I feel about people getting vaccinated, where they're like, I'm not gonna feel good for a few days. Like, you might have side effects, but for the love of God, you're vaccinated. It'll be fine.
Yeah, you won't do that as long as you ain't dead.
Your 5G will be working top notch.
Bill Gates will have it right there, baby. Tracking.
So Samantha's at the doctor and she's getting tested, and then I love that we have to have her go through, you know, the doctor's like, it just asks her about all the different sex stuff, and she says like yes to literally everything. She's like, anal, oral, you know, latex, lambskin condoms, etc., on and on. And then they're like, how many partners have you had? And she's like, this year. Because she's like counting in her head, and it's like it's a huge number apparently.
I mean, it's that you know what though, that like that scene was low-key triggering for me, because I have been tested, you know what I'm saying, just for my own, not because of like any scare or anything, that just for my own, you know.
No, I did too after
but like the reason why it's so triggering, because like the realism that they showed in the episode, because they do be asking you some mad invasive questions. It's like, and I understand they have to, because they have to get your entire sexual history.
They need to know.
But man, it's fucking uncomfortable when you get those questions. You're like, I don't know you, doctor. Why are you asking me such, like, this is like, I don't even, like, told some of my best friends some of this shit. What do you I can't answer this question right now.
I wasn't getting I was at the gynecologist the other day, and I'm not at the moment sadly sexually active, but they asked, are you sexually active? And I said, not really, no. And the doctor went, what is not really? Like, a lot of people say that. It's kind of a yes or no question. And I was like, it's aspirational. And he was like, what do you do for a living? You're pretty funny.
Aspirational. That's really funny. That's really funny. I mean, listen, sometimes when it's been a while, that is, you want to get there, but like,
I'd like the not really to be a really.
For
and
sure.
Then Samantha goes in and waits for her test results, and she is getting pulled into the little room and totally faints in the waiting room.
And to be fair, like, because they were saying too, when the girls were talking about, getting tested at the lunch or whatever, she was saying like getting tested is not the hard part. It's waiting for the results. That's like the worst part. 100%.
Waiting the results for anything is
100%. Any test. Like, fucking
I get tested weekly for COVID, and they don't always send the email in a timely fashion. I'm like, I gotta log into that fucking portal and make sure everything's good.
Dude, me too. Like, every time I get a COVID test for work, I'm like, if there's gonna be a time.
Yeah.
If there's gonna be a time where
is this the time it fucking happens? Well, and then, not to make it sad, but this is funny, I promise. When I first got sick, and they did not give me the formal like lymphoma diagnosis in the hospital.
Yeah.
They like checked me out, and they're like, it's probably that. We'll wait for the official thing. And they said at the time it would be a couple days. So my brother actually, when he flew out, he extended his flight by like a day or two.
Yeah.
And so we hit that like kind of arbitrary initial deadline, and we called. We didn't have like all the numbers we needed. So they were like, oh, we don't know who you talked to or who said what. We fucking rolled up to the hospital, and we were like, so who's telling us what?
Right. But I need this information right now.
This is the other funny part is the hospital. They had like a little help desk thing that it was manned by the two oldest humans I've ever seen in my life. They were very sweet.
Yeah.
They did not know what to do other than say, well, do you want us to order a tram ride for you to another building? And we were like, we don't know, because we're trying to track down
who
we talked to.
Yeah, we're trying to figure it all out.
And the diagnosis that they said might be coming. Right. And then I forget, I think I called somebody or the right thing, and they were like, no, we really, unfortunately, like we just don't have an actual like on your appointment in like 2 weeks or a week or whatever, they'll say what the deal is there. And we were like, okay. And my brother was like, no offense, but I am mad I extended my flight when they kind of told us we were going to be told on such and such day. Now, not that I don't love hanging out with you and want to be here for you, but it was also expensive to extend that flight.
Right, yeah.
And he only did it because they kind of had said confidently in the room, they're like, it will be in this much shorter span of time.
Right.
And then it wasn't. And we were like, but yeah, like, we were like, we're fucking going to the hospital, get in the fucking car. Somebody's got to give us some goddamn answers.
Yeah, man. Yeah, dude. Yeah, waiting for test results for anything is always just like, what's it gonna be?
Yeah.
What's it gonna be? Anything.
So, but Samantha's clear. Samantha's in the clear.
Yeah, she's clear. Yeah. Also, too, don't take me in a little small room when I'm doing an SEE test, because, like, yes, we all know when you're taking me to, like, just come out and be like, hey, like, because that's the thing too. Like, she, even though like she was clear and she just wanted to take her to a private place, like, talk to her about a sexual,
safe sex
and shit like that. It's like you could have started with like, look, just came, all of them.
Everything's great.
Everything's great. I
do want to talk to you about a few things.
Yes,
exactly.
That would have made her so like, she probably wouldn't have fainted if she'd have started with that. Why would you just be like, come to this room, like,
come here.
Right.
Fuck. Right. It's like when your boss is like, hey, can I talk to you? And you're like, am I getting fucking fired? just you got to tell me what you're talking to me about before we start.
Straight up, that happened to me like a few months ago. I had just worked a job, right? And then like my boss texted me. He's like, "Hey, do you got a moment to talk? I need to talk to you about a few things." And I was just like, "Oh shit! Like, what did I fuck up?" Because like, I'm trying to think of everything that happened that day. I'm like, all right, did I fuck up? What did I do? Okay, I was talking a little bit right there while they were trying to. Oh shit! What did I? Just going through all the reasons. Then like, come to find out, he just wanted to invite me to like the bar that he part owns with somebody. It's like, oh, I want to give you guys some free drinks and stuff like that. I was like, man, you gotta start with that. Don't make it seem like I'm about to get canned, my guy. What's wrong with you?
Do you have a minute? 5 terrifying words. Tell me. No, I don't have a minute.
That was literally He was like called me, and then like I didn't answer the phone, whatever. Then he like texted me. It was like, hey, I need to talk to you about something real quick. It's important. Like, that's not important. Also, too, like, don't say some shit like that when you just invite me out for a drink. That's not like important. Don't make it like, don't put weight on something that's casual like that. Why would you? Ridiculous, bro. Ridiculous.
But then,
shout out to Mark Vasquez.
Wait, to who?
Nah, I ain't gonna say his name again. I ain't gonna say his name again. They'll hear it if you're listening, you'll hear it.
So Samantha does triumphantly go and have sex in the sex swing, which of course immediately falls from the ceiling.
Which is hilarious. Also,
it's not in a stud, right? Like that's why it fell out of the ceiling. I'm no contractor.
I think that's fine. I think it was fine being a stud. It probably like would have pulled it out was like a weight issue. It probably wasn't like in an actual thing. My only thing is also too, like, I've never used a sex swing, but I feel like they were using it wrong. I don't know. I
don't think you're supposed to like swing like a child back and forth on it.
Right.
Maybe you are. I don't know.
No, I don't think so. I think the sex swing is just literally for like to elevate certain parts to so you can stand and do certain positions. I don't think it's supposed to be for two people to be in it necessarily like that, to be swinging. Like they could be in it to like do stuff, but like not in it like going back and forth. Like I don't think that was helping his stroke game at all. There was no way. Call me crazy. I don't know. Maybe we'll Google it. Or tell us in the comments if you.
Tell us in the comments how sex swings work.
Tell us if that was the way that it should be done. I don't know. You tell me. I could be completely ignorant here.
And then we'll get back to Charlotte, because I like Charlotte's storyline because it introduces one of my favorite little side characters here. So at brunch, when Samantha's asking about the AIDS test, Charlotte's brought like a stack of magazines to pick a dress. And
she's trying to avoid it again. She's like, I don't want to talk about AIDS right now.
Yeah.
Can we talk about my dress? What's wrong with you guys?
Yeah, and it's like the wedding is in a much shorter time frame, than I realized. Because I think Charlotte kind of says it when she's talking to Carrie, but we already talked about that part. So, Samantha's finally so annoyed with Charlotte, she's like, I'm gonna hire stylists, I'm gonna give you names, and they will deal with all these things you're panicking and worrying about.
Right.
And that's where we meet Anthony Marantino, played by Mario Cantone, who's so hilarious. He's so good. I loved, he was hosting for all of October, like sort of Halloween, or like not horror exactly, but he was just on Turner Classic Movies with some of his favorite movie picks.
Oh, right.
And he was so enthusiastic. I loved just hearing him talk about all the movies that he picked and why. And they were always like, kind of like, we're running out of time. Like, you gotta like wrap this intro. I know they're not live, but like even in the pre-taped ones, it was kind of clear they're like, you gotta kind of wrap it up. Which was so wonderful.
That's so Mario.
So he's there, and he says, when you want a wedding, you go Wang, as in Vera Wang, who we talked about in Bride Wars. Call back.
Right. You don't what was it, the quote was it, like, you don't
customize a Wang. You change
yourself
to fit.
For Wang.
We're paraphrasing, but
we fucked it up, but whatever.
You
watch the movie.
Watch the movie. Or listen to the podcast. Or both.
Or both. Yeah, I think we got to write the podcast. We definitely got to write the podcast.
We got to write the podcast
for sure.
And Charlotte's so happy because he's like the pushy Italian mother she never had. Which, speaking of, shouldn't her mom be helping her pick out her dress? It's kind of a big thing.
I literally wrote the same thing. I was like, for somebody who talks about like family and these like and doing like the whole like fantasy white picket fence wedding things that she has in her head, you would think her mom would be there to be part of it, but maybe the mom doesn't approve of this like whirlwind romance, you know?
I don't think it's that. I think it's just it's complicated to bring parents in as characters on shows like these.
Sure.
Like
they brought a brother in, why can't we?
But we never see the brother again.
That's true. He was gone real quick.
And
that was it was a long time ago. He was there. That's true.
And we don't know anything about Samantha's parents. We don't know anything. Well, the only thing we know about Samantha's parents is her mom made her like a cough syrup Fanta concoction for colds in the last episode.
Right.
Don't know really anything about Carrie's parents at all.
No.
You know. And it's one of the, like I think they brought it up on like I remember reading like when they were creating Buffy the Vampire Slayer as a show, that it was they kind of originally didn't want to include like her mom or anything like that because a mom's gonna be like, what the fuck are you doing going in and out at all hours? You know, a good parent would be like, what are you doing? And her character wise, her mom was a good parent in the show,
right? But
they ended up working her in and kind of making her at some point aware of what Buffy is doing and Buffy's stuff, and then sadly killing her off in one of the best episodes of the series. God, that's a sad episode. So good though. Yeah. I don't condone Joss Whedon. I don't like him that much, but that is an incredible episode of television.
And low key, that whole series was groundbreaking.
It's really good.
Just for that's the subject matter that it covered, especially in the later seasons. So
and that's an effort of not just him, despite the whole auteur thing. It's other writers and creators on the show and the cast really that's Sarah Michelle Gellar,
which really bummed me out because like then you kind of found out he might be low-key a racist when he was working on Justice League. It's like but how'd you make such a progressive show if
there's been without opening a whole can of worms on that you go back and you watch certain elements of Buffy and how Buffy is treated. It's not. It is and it isn't at the same time. Like there are
like this show.
And that's all of the same. It's all of the same era. Buffy is airing at the same time this is airing, and a lot of it is it is kind of like a 1 step forward, 2 steps back, or 2 steps forward, 3 steps back kind of thing. Right. Where for every kind of truly progressive moment, and however it is, whether it's like sexually here on Sex and the City or like character wise on Buffy, there are moments that kind of can negate it, and it's almost like a zero-sum game in some ways.
Gotcha.
Not entirely, because ultimately their impact led to other things, right? But just no show is perfect or whatever, but and they definitely paved the way for other stuff. But there's problems of just the time they were created in. There were still issues then. Again, the fact that it's a mostly male creative team. Yeah. And that kind of infects how things play out,
Yeah, I can see that. That makes sense.
There are certain I don't have a good Buffy example off the top of my head. No, I know that's not the show we're recapping anyway. I don't want to go too far.
But that might be the next one because that's a fire ass show.
It's such a good show.
But yeah, so like that's a good idea. But that's true. Like in all this, it's kind of weird that Charlotte's mom isn't around to like help her with any of the planning. Like even if it's like not even necessarily the dress, like you would think like the mom would have gone around like with the to register for the gifts and wedding gifts like that. That's usually a mom and daughter type thing. You know what I mean? Usually you don't drag the man with you to do that.
Usually. But this got so heavy and I'm like, this is like a funny moment, and I'm like, Charlotte's dress is hunting is the saddest scene in the entire episode, save for when Natasha falls down a flight of stairs. I'm just kidding.
Correct.
I did all that said though, and like obviously I'd bring my mom, even though like we kind of fight about fashion stuff sometimes. Sure. And I did tell somebody again, and I think I've said it on here, I fully intend to be a bridezilla, but not about like as we mentioned in Bride Wars. I'm not going to do it about like crazy things like, oh, my bridesmaids must match, it must be this. Right. It's just like, if I say I fucking want the thing I want it.
Right. Don't ask me. Don't
woe
ask me.
to those who try to stop me. If I say I want a chocolate wedding cake, I want a fucking chocolate wedding cake.
Yeah. I don't need options.
Unless
they're all chocolate. Then you show me different options.
But even then, I'm like, but I might have like a small vanilla one if people want. Or like, I want a steak option at dinner and I want to be served steak. Hell yeah. But I'll totally have a vegan option for people. It's just the sort of like anyone who's like, well, I think you should totally change X, Y, or Z. No. This is my day.
Yeah.
I'm the princess for one day. Let it happen.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. If you want something else, you better bring it in your own purse or some shit.
Yeah. If you want
pack a bag.
You want orange flowers instead of, I don't know, purple ones that I pick. Don't bring your own fucking flowers to my wedding. I swear to God, I'll snap your hand in half.
Yeah, that'd be a little bit disrespectful there.
But I would. All that said, I would love to have like a stylist with me, like someone to suggest things, and I love that he plays the bad guy because Charlotte's kind of like, I don't know, I'm worried the sales girl's gonna think I'm a bitch or being mean, and he's like, that's what I'm here for, and it is not about you being nice to this sales girl, although you should be, just FYI.
Right.
But it's not about her, the sales girl, liking you. It's about you finding the dress that you are dreaming of, that you've been thinking of for the wedding. And they apparently do. The next rack instantly.
Like literally, like, she brought in like 4 dresses. And he was like, hate them all, and then I brought in one, and it was just like, that's the one.
But yeah, I'm so excited. Mario Cantone's here because he's such a fun addition.
Wait, we get to see him more?
Yeah, he just pops in here and there, and he mostly hangs out with Charlotte because they kind of become super close.
Oh, okay. Through
the process of this, and they just he knows the other girls, but he's kind of Charlotte's buddy.
Okay, cool.
And they're the tightest.
I like that a little bit because I think that
Charlotte needs a friend.
She needs a friend outside of this friend group.
She needs a friend outside of this group.
They're not very, like, because here's the thing too, like, I mean, even right, it's like when we talk about the whole thing with Carrie's situation, she's the last to know. Like, she's like, you know, she's kind of the outsider of the group. Yeah. Clearly, these women aren't really like she don't really have a lot in common with these women. So like, it's nice to see. That's nice to hear that she's gonna have a friend outside of this group.
He's almost Charlotte Stanford in a way, sort of like. And unfortunately, like I said, they both fall into the like gay BFF stereotype that was so popular at this time, where every girl was like, I want a gay best friend, and it's like, I'm not a puppet, I'm a human.
You know what though, at least the dynamic between Charlotte and him was going to be way less toxic between like that Carrie had with Stanford. You know what I'm saying? Like, that shit was toxic. That was like, she literally used him for the stereotype that he was. That was it. Like,
I have
no respect for him. No respect for him, man.
And it's definitely a little different with Charlotte. She's very much, we don't get to know a ton about the character over the course of the series because he's very much he's a minor character,
right? But
he and Charlotte are close, and it's clear they're and in all their future interactions and stuff, it's clear they're close and like they're buds. And so it would have been nice to see more of his life, you know, within the context of the show, but it's nice to know like that this is a real friendship, and not that the girls are mean to Charlotte ever exactly, but
not really. But they also don't include her.
They don't always include her.
She's not really like in the group. She's kind of like around.
Like we said, we're pretty sure she's the newest addition to the friend.
Yeah, 100% for sure. Yeah, they definitely have some years on her. For sure.
Cool. And then speaking of the friend group, Miranda's storyline.
Yeah, she's like
so weird.
So weird.
This is one of the most famous ones for her, though. It comes up. I feel like people bring it up, or maybe it just plays on TV a bunch because this is another episode where that's kind of easy to play on basic cable.
Yeah, you can't. Like, there's nothing really like risque about her storyline. I mean, honestly, they just kind of like
she just
love the idea.
Blimpies and someone in the guy in the sandwich costume just says "Eat me," and she thinks she's being harassed, and they're like, "That's the slogan of the store." Like.
Also, though, but Blimpies trash. Like, yo, there's a
Blimpies is the fucking worst.
Worst, me. I forgot they even fucking existed until.
I don't think they do anymore.
No, they're gone. No, they're gone.
R.I.P. Blimpies, except not really. No,
not R.I.P. Good
riddance, Blimpies.
Yeah, G.I.P. Good. Get out of here.
I remember distinctly like the one and only time I ate from a Blimpies. Like, I think. We family stopped there, something like that, and everyone was like, these subs are trash. Like even in my youth, I knew they were bad.
So gross. They're so gross. They're so gross.
And then she's like talking to Carrie, and she's like, because she catches like a hint of like smile through the like screen costume screen because she can't see the guy's face, and like that's enough to get her like totally intrigued and horny and weird. And I'm like,
by the way, okay, so here's what I got. This is my confusion. I know this is a show, but I feel like there is some realisticness in the show. Yeah. Okay, because like, all right, here's the thing that I'm confused about, right? For the most part, when you like women, when they talk about like being afraid of like going outside the house, especially like walking around, like they're like, like you know, worried about things happening to them. But then like she seems, then there's also women they're like on that same vein are like kind of turned on by a danger element of sex.
Yeah, but there's certain safe ways you can do it. It's you know.
But that wouldn't be safe. Like if she just took this stranger home and fucked him, like that wouldn't be safe. He could easily be a murderer. I mean, he's in a Blippi's costume.
I mean,
he's gotta be a murderer.
That's the chance that I think you're kind of conflating two different things. It's always a chance you're bringing home a murderer off a dating app, off of meeting someone at a bar. What women are afraid of when they go out is guys who won't take no for answers, who persist, who push, who get aggressive, and harass and things like that. Like Miranda thinks the sandwich guy is doing it. He's not just saying the dumb slogan. And then also what weirds me out too is she like lifts the sandwich veil and it's like a fucking teenager.
Yeah.
Like, what did she think that was a grown man in that costume?
Well, no, but that's not even what turned her off. It's seeing his face turned her off. Like, she liked the idea of like not knowing him and him being like a total stranger. Like, if he'd have been like, "Hey, I'll wear this costume to your apartment right now," costume. She probably would have been down. She probably would have fucked him, low key.
Yeah.
He fucked it up by letting her see his face because when she saw his face, she's like, "Oh, he's good looking," but like, nah, it's over.
Yeah, and also he's like 17, so
he also was very young looking. He definitely looked like he barely got out of his teens.
Yeah, I was like, this is so weird. It's one of those like frivolous storylines that's so frivolous that I'm like, why? Did you just literally have nothing for Miranda to do?
Well, you know what? It's a good turnaround because usually it
happened to Samantha.
Yeah, that's what she's been getting most of this season. Yeah. So it's good to like kind of pass the torch. Like, look, we didn't have nothing to do with you. Like, and honestly, kind of for Miranda right now, things are kind of stale. Like, the only thing that was kind of keeping her pretty relevant through this season so far was her relationship with Steve. Right. But now that that's over. Yeah. You know, like she, then the last episode she had the whole, the phone sex relationship. Yeah. But like even then, that's like you even said in our last episode, that's kind of more of a Samantha storyline.
Yeah. Again, no spoilers. Things even out plot wise with everybody. I think as this season progresses into
I feel that
other areas, but it's just so weird. Have you ever been randomly obsessed though with like a mascot or something? I haven't.
Nah, man, I've never had that. Like, okay, now, and the idea, like the stereotypical like porn man thought, like I thought like a girl, like, oh, what would it be like if like we just randomly had sex? But it's never been like a, what's the word I'm looking for? It's never been like anything weird like that. I've never like been like looking at like some girl, like I've never looked at like a woman in like a cheerleading costume and be like, oh, that'd be hot, like to go or something like that, like some kind of form of
the mystery of not knowing like what they look like. I don't know. That's never been like. I mean, that's the whole plot of Phantom of the Opera, and that really backfires at the end.
I did though, however, I guess maybe kind of had a similar situation like this. I did when I was in the military. Hawaii was huge for Halloween. Didn't know that, but they're huge. I mean, like literally, they turn the entire island to like a big walk around. Everybody's in costume. It's awesome.
I want to go.
It's fire. But I did get hit on by a girl who was dressed like Samara from
The Ring.
The Ring.
Yeah.
And it was kind of weird, but I was so kind of hot. I was like, I might be into this, but she also might actually try to
7 days.
So, yeah, I was like, you know what? Maybe not. Because here's the thing too. It wasn't like she just like kind of put some makeup on. Like she went all out, had like the long white fucking skirt, the fucking scars, the black mucky hair shit. I was like, all right, maybe I might be into this, but no, I'm not. Nah, I don't want to die. I don't want to die. So I guess I kind of had a similar situation like that. I didn't do it though. I was like Miranda. I was like, nah.
I mean, that's an intense character to commit to.
Yeah, low key. Yeah,
it's no like, blumpy also, sub, but it
would have fucked up the fantasy, right? Because of course, if we went to go like have sex, she wouldn't have been Samara. If she'd have stayed in character, that would have freaked me out. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I don't know. Get out of character. Talk to me like a human. This can't work. I don't need you.
This joke is so dumb.
You crawl out of my bathroom like you crawl out of TV. I'm gonna fuck you up. You don't think you don't wish you was in that well after I got done.
when you come, you see the ring. I hate myself.
That's been the end of our episode. This is great. Thanks for following. Like and subscribe. Like, subscribe, and comment. This is our last episode.
No, it's not. We'll be back next week.
Thanks for supporting us.
For better or worse, we'll be back next week.
Guys, if you're not watching this,
why am I like this?
If you guys could have seen the pride that Elizabeth had on her face for that joke, it made me laugh so hard. She was so proud of herself, guys. It was amazing.
Yep, I'm an idiot. Anyway,
all to the good.
Where can they find you on the internet, Chris?
They can find me at Mack Diddy Combs on all things, Twitter, the Instagrams, the Cash Apps, and the Venmos, and the TikToks. I'm still working on making better videos for TikTok right now. They're just like random dumb shit.
Yeah, you just experiment when you start.
I'm just experimenting. I don't know what my niche is gonna be, but I'll figure it out. We'll see.
Yeah, I haven't figured out mine either, but it's fun.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
If you want to still find me on the internet after that joke, you can find me at Elizabeth Movies on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. I'm most active on Twitter, although I can lose a day on TikTok just watching videos.
Yeah,
but that's the curse. And then, as always, Arlo Australia candles. Go. All the info will be in the description box. But go to their Etsy or Instagram and use promo code ShowMeThis for 10% off of your order. And there's some fun end of the year scents and all that good stuff. The holidays are coming up because we have one more episode for this year, and then we'll be done with 2021. And we've been doing this for a whole year already.
That's crazy, that crazy? Dude. Yeah, when I saw that thing on Facebook, they're saying like this was a year ago. I was like, has it truly been? But it was. Yeah, it was like right at the end of 2020. Yeah. But
you know what? Time's a flat circle. None of this matters.
None of it matters. You'll die in 7 days.
Yeah. Have a good night or day or whatever time.
Whatever time you live. Yeah. Laters. Bye.